Welcome to Kalima Horra with me, George Galloway, on Almayadeen television, coming to you from London, but discussing truly global events. I'm joined, as always, by an audience of distinguished experts and one or two enthusiastic amateurs like me. So, it's official. Mr. Lavrov, widely, maybe even universally regarded as the senior diplomat in the world, is persona non grata in England. He is not allowed to visit Britain. In fact, all diplomatic relations between Britain and Russia are now in a state of deep freeze, suspended, and who knows what is to come. The Cold War just might get a little bit hot. The proximate cause for this is that Russia is accused of not quite killing 2 Russians in England. But we recently had another foreign visitor who's killed rather more of his own people and the people of rather more than his own country. And yet, for the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, the deepest, the most lush of red carpets was rolled out. No persona non grata for a man who has doubled the number of beheadings by the sword in his country in the last year. No persona non grata for a man who is the war leader in a war against the poorest country in the Arab world, Yemen, which has killed tens of thousands of people by arms, most of them sold to him by countries like Britain and the United States. You might be getting a whiff of hypocrisy here, I hope so, but placed in jeopardy literally hundreds of thousands of Yemenis who are dying from cholera and mass starvation. In 2018, in the Arab world, potentially the richest part of the entire globe. Not only that, no persona non grata for the war leader financing, arming, and providing unlimited media air cover for the alphabet soup of fanaticism still murdering in Syria. The alphabet soup of Al-Qaeda, ISIS, look, I've forgotten them. There's that many of these organizations, these jayshes that carry the name, they say, blasphemy, if you ask me, of Islam in one form or another. Prince Mohammed bin Salman is 33 years old, yet he has unlimited power in his country. Or does he? All these relatives that he hung upside down from hooks in the Ritz-Carlton Hotel until they disgorged their ill-gotten gains so that he could trouser it along with his own ill-gotten gains, may yet be in a position to strike back. Who knows? Perhaps the National Guard, whose leadership has been so cruelly incarcerated and tortured, perhaps other power centers in Saudi Arabia, may yet strike back. None of that mattered to a British media now in ferocious overdrive against Russia, had a word to say against MbS. Mohammed bin Salman was the rock star, that's what they called him, a rock star prince who was changing Saudi Arabia. Just in case you didn't get the message from the mainstream media, they spent millions of pounds, presumably Saudi Arabia spent it, rather than the British government, though who knows. Millions of pounds on newspaper advertisements, gigantic, moving, electronic billboards, showing him in rather a handsome aspect, I must say, and telling us that he was the man who was liberating Saudi women. They didn't mention all the Yemeni women. They didn't mention the Syrian women. They didn't mention the Iraqi women. They didn't mention the Libyan women. They didn't mention any other women except those fortunate enough now to be driving their new cars, although I don't think it's even happened yet. I was on the BBC on the day of his arrival, linked up with, by satellite, a woman in Saudi Arabia who really did think MbS was a rock star. And her reason? She was, that very afternoon, about to take delivery of her Ford Mustang. Nice work if you can get it. I wouldn't mind a Ford Mustang myself. Now, has Saudi Arabia changed? Should we support this reformer? Or is it just lipstick on a, well, I better not say what I normally say, lipstick on a monster? Is it still a monster, or is that lipstick part of a genuine transformation? What will it mean for the Arab region? What will it mean for the people of Saudi Arabia, many of whom, for the first time in generations, are actually really rather poor and struggling to get by? Will all that change now that MbS is at the helm? And what will it mean for the West? Well, plenty of mullah, the West hopes, or they wouldn't be rolling out this red carpet. So Russia bad, Saudi Arabia good. Lavrov, Putin, we don't want even to see your faces. MbS, might we kiss your posterior, sire? That's the British way.